You're watching the Weiss channel.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, so today we're going to find the slope of a line through 2 points, okay? This is very easy, and perhaps one point or another you've heard of rise over run, rise over run. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do rise over run. So here are 2 points. Here's 2, 1, and here's 6, 7. What is the slope of this line, okay? In fact, by the way, when you think of slope, what sport do you think of?
Skiing.
Skiing, right? So when you ski, right, or those who do ski, there are slopes that are, very steep slopes, and then there are slopes that are not so steep, right? Okay? Now, would you ever, there's always one person who says yes. Would you ever go skiing on something like that?
No.
No? Right.
That makes no sense.
Doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
That's a cliff, right? This is a slope that's called undefined. Undefined, okay? Because there isn't a slope. It's just undefined. But then, there are people that do go skiing on this, right? Cross-country skiing, right? And you see them with these 2 poles and they're pushing themselves. It's really good exercise, okay? All right, this is a slope of 0. It's a 0 slope. There's no incline or decline, okay? Now, if the slope is, the higher the slope, first of all, the steeper the slope, the higher the number that corresponds with it. The less the steepness, the lower that number that corresponds with it, okay? A slope that's straight across like this is a 0 slope. And of course, like I said, this one's undefined, okay? All right, so now back to these 2 points. Here are 2 points, 2, 1, and 6, 7, and slope is defined as rise over run. How far do you go up or how far do you go over? All right, well, how far do we go up? From here to here, we go up how many? We started at 1 and we wound up at 7. How far up is that? Would you agree that that is up 6? Right? That makes sense? And we go over how many? We run how many? We go from 2 to 6. From 2 to 6 is 4, right? Okay? So how far did we rise? We rose 6, okay? We ran 4 over 4. Now, what I will tell you is always reduce, always reduce, always reduce, okay? 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2.
You can't reduce it no more.
You can't reduce it anymore, right? Now, I do not want you to turn this into 1.5. Just leave it as one number over another. Slope is always one number over another, even if the one on top is bigger than the other. We leave it as an improper fraction if that's what it is, okay? So 6 over 4 equals 3 over 2, and we leave it just like that. Now, did I need to graph these 2 points in order to find that number? No. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what you're going to do, and this is a very easy process, okay? Now, to get 6, right, what did we do? Now, you could say, well, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, very good. Or you could say, well, wait a second. If this is 1 and this is 7, and we went from 1 to 7, how could I get 6 using the numbers 1 and 7? Aha, I could subtract, right? Would you agree that I did 7 minus 1 to get 6, right? I did 7 minus 1. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know that all points are in the form of x, xy, right? xy, right? 6, 7, 6 is the x value, and 7 is the y value, right? X and y, okay? So, would you agree? Here's what I'm going to say, all right? I'm going to say that this is point number 1, and I'm going to say that this is point number 2. Are you okay that this is x for point number 2, and this is y for point number 2? Okay? Over here, would you agree, if this is point 1, that this is x for point number 1, and this is y for point number 1? Does that make sense? Please tell me if it does not make sense. Okay? So, what did we do? We did 7 minus 1. Would you agree that that is y2 minus y1? Right? y2 minus y1. Over here, how did we get 4? If this is 2 and this is 6, right? Here's 2 and here's 6. How could we get 4 using the numbers 2 and 6? Subtract, right? Didn't we do 6 minus 2? 6 minus 2, right? Isn't that actually x2 minus x1, right? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that is how we find slope. You do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? You don't even need to do all this graph stuff. All you're going to do is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And let's do some examples, all right? What's the slope between these 2 points, all right? I'm going to do what minus what? I'm going to do 4 minus 3 over 9 minus 5. Okay? Does everyone understand what I just did there? Okay? What's 4 minus 3? 1. 9 minus 5 is 4. There's your slope, 1/4. Done. Okay? Mr. Weiss, could I go from here to here? Yes. Meaning, could I do 3 minus 4? Yes. What if you did 3 minus 4? If you do 3 minus 4, then you have to do 5 minus 9 on the bottom. 5 minus 9. What's 3 minus 4? -1. What's 5 minus 9? -4. And negative over a negative makes a positive. So it doesn't matter which point you use first. It'll still give you the same answer. Okay? But you must remember that if you go from the second point to the first point using the y's, you must use the second point going to the first point with the x's. You can't do 4 minus 3 and then do 5 minus 9. No, 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 no. All right? That will give you the negative answer. Okay? Everyone understand what I'm saying to you? Okay. Can you call back after I'm done recording, please? Thanks. I appreciate that. All right? Okay. Here. What do I do here? I do what minus what? I have -3, 2, and 4, -5. I'm going to do -5 minus 2, right? Over 4 minus -3. Does that make sense? Please tell me if that doesn't make sense. No? Are you okay? All right. Now, what is -5 minus 2? Do we agree that that is -7? Please tell me if that does not make sense. Okay? Minus minus makes a plus, right? So we've got -7 over +7. That reduces. Always reduce, always reduce, always reduce. Right? -7 over 7 equals -1. -1 over 1, which reduce it even further to -1. Done. Easy. Okay? Let's keep going. 1 -7, -3, 5. What do? I'm going to do 5 minus -7 over -3 minus 1. Everyone okay with that? Minus minus is a plus, right? That's 12. -3 minus 1 is -4, right? What's 12 over -4? Isn't that 3 over -1, right? Don't leave it like that. What is 3 over -1? -3. Just write -3. Okay? You don't have to write over 1, all right? Over here, what about this? -4, 1, and 6, -3. I'm going to do what? -3 minus 1 over 6 minus -4. Okay. -3 minus 1 is -4. 6 minus -4 is +10, right? What does that reduce to? -2 over 5. Very good. Done. -2 over 5. Okay? Always reduce, always reduce, always reduce. Okay? Over here, 8 -3, 2 -7. Now, by the way, I always start with the second point. Do you have to? No. If you want to do the first point first, that's fine. I always do y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. All right, so I'm going to do -7 minus -3 over 2 minus 8. Don't stop recording. Cassati, hey, let me call you back. Thanks, bye. All right? Remember, minus minus is plus, right? So what's -7 plus 3? Isn't that -4, right? What's 2 minus 8? Wouldn't that be -6, right? A negative over a negative is a positive, and 4 6 reduces to 2/3, right? Everyone okay there? Okay. What about this? -3 5 and 6 5. What happens here? We get 5 minus 5 over 6 minus -3. 5 minus 5 is 0. 6 plus 3 is 9. 0 over 9 equals what? 0, right? Isn't this a zero slope? Right? And if you think about it for a minute, that makes sense because if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, and -1, 2, 3, and 5. Here's -3, 5. Here's 6, 5. A line that goes through these 2 points is a flat line, right? That's a slope of 0, right? Makes sense. Okay. Over here, how about this one? I'm going to do 6 minus -3 over 5 minus 5. Okay? 6 minus -3 is 9, and 5 minus 5 is 0. Wait a minute. Can we divide by 0? What happens on your calculator if you tried to divide by 0? You get error, right? Why do you get error? Right? Remember what we called this? In fact, what does this graph look like? Where's, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Here's 5, negative 3, and here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6 is over here. Remember this line? This line goes like this. Remember I asked you if you would go skiing on something like this? And you said, I don't think so, right? Remember what I called this line? This line is undefined. Undefined. If you have 0 on the bottom, your answer is undefined. You've been watching the Weiss channel. Da-da-da-da-da-da.